All right. Sorry I kept you waiting. Did you miss me? Yeah, I missed you too. All right, so we're picking back up where we left off at the Telluride brochure, right? It's very nice. It's got a map in here and everything. But I'm going to show you on my screen because technology has came so far. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you on my screen. There you're looking at the city of David, actually. You are looking at the city of David as well as the tabernacle of Zion. The tabernacle of David. And as you see, this is the floor plan for the entire tabernacle, right? As you can see, it starts from the 10th century BC all the way to the 2nd century BC. So this goes from King David, 10th century, all the way to the Maccabean, right? Judas Maccabeus, right? And this is the floor plan of the tabernacle. And when you look at the city of David, it is actually right here. Here's the tabernacle, right? Here's the city of David. Here's the lower city. Here's the upper city, right? Here's the gates of Judah right here. Here's the gates of Benjamin. And right here at this number 6, that's the gate of Ephraim. And you're probably asking me, how do I know this? Well, I lived in Israel. I spent a lot of time at this mountain praying and reading it according to the scriptures. And literally using the scripture as a geographical roadmap to understand where I'm at. And that's what I'm going to show you today, right? So right now you're looking at the city of David, which is inside of Jerusalem, along with Bethlehem, Mount of Olives. All of these places are inside of Jerusalem. So when you read scriptures, you never read a scripture where someone had to go away from Jerusalem to get to Bethlehem, or go away from Jerusalem to get to the city of David. They are all inside of Jerusalem. Kind of like LA County, right? When you go to Los Angeles, you got all these little cities inside of LA. You got Compton, you got Inglewood, you got Linwood, Long Beach. All of these cities are inside of LA County, right? So with Jerusalem, it's the same way, right? And right now we're looking at the city of David, which is inside. It sits on top of Mount Zion, which is inside the city of Jerusalem, right? So now I want to look at this floor plan of the tabernacle, because this is some crazy groundbreaking information. This information was put together by the archaeologists, and it's got some important things to show you that they know what this place is, right? So with that being said, let's go to the scriptures, because the scriptures is going to validate everything. Everything we have to say has got to be validated by the scriptures. So I hope you got your King James versions and you're following along. And if you don't got a King James version, that's good too. But you know me, I'm kind of like, I don't know. But anyway, I'm going to start out in Nehemiah chapter 3, right? And we'll start at verse 1. And then we're not going to read the whole chapter, but we'll kind of breeze through it just so you get the gist of what we're reading. Right? So Nehemiah 3 and 1. Then Eliashib the high priest rose up with his brethren, the priests, and they built the sheep gate. Wow. So what's the sheep gate? The sheep gate is, if I'm not mistaken, it's the gate to the entrance, or it's the Benjamin gate. I can't remember, but the most important part is Eliashib the high priest, right? So now let's go back to our pictures and see what we're looking at here. Boom, right? I'm going to maximize that, right? What does that say? The house of Eliashib, right? And the scriptures say Eliashib was what? Eliashib the high priest. So this is Nehemiah. right? So this is during the time when our forefathers came back from Babylon. So this is during the Persian Empire, during the time of Nehemiah and Ezra, right? So mind you, this is not during the time of David. This is about a good 500 years later. This is High Priest Eliashib, right? And we're going to prove that the archaeologists that drew out this floor plan knew exactly what this place is, but they just can't come out and tell the world because they need you going to that Wailing Wall, giving praise to Satan and all those fallen angels that they've been worshiping, and Zeus and all of that nonsense, and the temple, the statue of Jupiter and all that stuff, right? But I'm going to tell you today that archaeologists that drew this floor plan knew. So I'm going to skip down. Let's skip down to verse. Let's skip down to verse 15, right? But the gate of the fountain repaired Shalom, the son of Kohose, the ruler of part of Mizpah. He built it, covered it, and set up the doors thereof, the locks thereof, the bars thereof, and the wall of the pool of Silo by the king's garden, and unto the stairs that go down from the city of David. Wow. So they know what this place is, right? And let's look at that, right? Here is the pool of Silo right here, right? So they know that this is the city of David, because here's the pool of Silo. Let's go back to that scripture one more time, verse 15. The fountain, the wall of the pool of Silo, right, by the king's garden. So this area would be the king's garden right here as soon as you come through the Benjamin gate. So this is the gates of Benjamin, or what we would call the east gate. The scriptures call it the east gate, the gate of Benjamin, right? Because this is the land of Benjamin where Zion is located, where Jerusalem is, like the scriptures always say. The land of Judah is to the south, but we're going to get that later. So we're going inside the Benjamin gate. We're on foot. We enter the Benjamin gate. Boom. The first thing we see is the pool of Silo. This pool had healing properties. You can read about that in Isaiah 8 and John 9, right? I believe John 5 as well, where they say that song they always sing in the Negro spirituals, wade in the water, right? So here is the pool of Silo, located inside the city of David. Let's read on. After him repaired Nehemiah the son of Azbuk, the ruler of half part, unto the place over against the sepulchre of David, and to the pool that was made, and unto the house of the mighty. So the house of the mighty is the house of God, which is the tabernacle, right? So he repaired all of this area going up to the tabernacle, meaning that David's sepulchre is right in this area. And if we're looking at the floor plan, that would be right here. David's sepulchre is right here on the corner. You see that? So here's Eliashib's house, and here's the sepulchre of David. They don't want to tell you that because they don't want you to know that this is the tabernacle of David, right? And I'm going to tell you why they call this place a Canaanite city. The reason why they call this place a Canaanite city and call this an Israelite temple, as you see in these pictures, I'll show you some pictures. No, not this one. There's Melo. Let me go to another one. Okay. Let me show you why they call this thing a Canaanite city and an Israelite temple. You see that? They call this place the Israelite temple. And they call this down here a Canaanite city. As you can see, it's in ruins. It's desolate, right? The reason why they call this a Canaanite city is because they found ruins and artifacts and intelligence and also dead bodies of an all-black civilization. So this is why they call this a Canaanite city. Remember, they always associate anything black to Canaan. If they would have found bones of white people and drawings and artifacts of white people, they would have no problem calling this the city of David and Mount Zion. But because they found all of that ruins of a black civilization, they call this a Canaanite city. But they don't hide that this is an Israelite temple. They don't hide that, and I'm going to show you why in a minute. And we're going to read this this brochure more as well. But we're getting back to the brochure. Okay. Nobody want to see no Farrakhan. Anyway, let's get back to that. Right. Okay. So now, back to Nehemiah, right? Let's get back to Nehemiah. Okay. And we're going to skip down to verse 20. Better yet, we'll go to verse 19. And next to him repaired Ezer, the son of Jeshua, the ruler of Mitzpah, another piece over against the going up to the armory at the turning of the wall. So when we look at the floor plan, here's the turning of the wall, right? So obviously David's sepulcher is in this area. According to that scripture, David's sepulcher is in this area. I'm correcting myself. So here's the turning of the wall, right? Let's go back to the scripture, verse 19, verse 20 now. After him, Baruch the son of Zabbai earnestly repaired the other piece from the turning of the wall unto the door of the house of Eliashib. So this guy, Baruch the son of Zabbai, he repaired another piece from the turning of the wall unto the door of the house of Eliashib. So he repaired this area all the way to the door. Here's the door. Matter of fact, here's the door of Eliashib's house. And so he repaired all of this. So mind you, this is when we came back and rebuilt the temple or the tabernacle. This is what we were rebuilding during the time of Nehemiah and Ezra, right? So here it is, to the house of Eliashib. So this is recorded in the scriptures, right? And that's it on that one. So now, let's go look at this floor plan. Real good. Right? So now we got, according to Nehemiah, what this place is. Right? We got Millo. We got the mountain that it sits on, which is Mount Zion. Right? Now, I want to get the city. So we're going to go to Maccabees. We're going to go to Maccabees. See the city? This is the city of David, right? This is what I called it. And remember, the city of David is inside Jerusalem, right? So we're going to go to 1 Maccabees 12 and 36. Okay. So this is during the time when we took back the tabernacle from the Greeks. Like it says, this thing dates. This thing dates. You see Hellenistic tower? This thing dates to the Greek Empire, 3rd and 2nd centuries BCE. So they know what this place is. So let's read that. And making the walls of Jerusalem higher, and raising a great mount between the tower and the city, for to separate it from the city, and that it might be